The sea. Her moods are many. Sometimes she is kind with gentle breezes and easy sailing. At other times she is savage and storm-tossed. Then she tests men and ships, and some. When the wind is shrieking in the rigging and the decks are awash, seamen have to trust and hope that the designers and builders have learned to make ships strong enough to withstand this kind of punishment. For the smaller craft caught out in such storms, there was little hope. In the coastal waters of Norway during the mid-19th century, some 700 lives a year were lost to the sea. Sudden gales and chill waters took a terrible toll. This man, Dr. Oscar Tybring, was determined to halt this loss of life. He proposed a rescue service manning boats so seaworthy they could put to sea in the worst weather conditions and give assistance when needed. At first it was a struggle. No one would listen. They said the length of the Norwegian coast made the idea impractical. It would take too many boats. And besides, no boat could be built that could both survive the frightful winter storms of the North Atlantic and also be able to aid other boats in distress. Though in poor health, Dr. Tybring spent 10 years traveling, speaking, and writing to gain backing for his idea. Gradually he gathered supporters, and finally on July 1, 1891, he triumphed. The Norwegian Society for the Rescue of the Shipwrecked was founded in Oslo. The society commissioned the respected naval architect and boat builder Colin Archer to build an experimental rescue boat. The boat was to be an enlarged, ketch-rigged version of his successful seaworthy pilot cutters. Rescue Boat Number 1, Colin Archer, was launched in 1893. She was about 45 feet long and displaced about 35 tons. Though small in size, she was quick and strong, and she soon showed her abilities and proved Dr. Tybring's concept by saving some 36 lives during such a severe storm that steamships could not leave harbor. Greatly encouraged by this success, the Society built boats as quickly as funds could be raised, and Dr. Tybring, though his health was failing rapidly, must have felt rewarded that his idea not only was proven, but was saving lives. In 1895, Dr. Tybring died. At the time of his death, rescue vessel number 8 was building in Colin Archer's yard at Larvik, Norway. In December of that year, this rescue boat was commissioned, and she was named Oscar Tybring in memory of the man who gave so much to found the rescue service. In all, 37 sailing rescue boats were built in the years between 1893 and 1933. They carried a small crew, a captain and 3 men. They patrolled the coast and sailed with the fishing fleets, ready to assist any vessel in distress. The boats handled well. They were maneuverable and well suited for close-in work along the rocky coast as well as at sea. Most of their work was done in winter, the time of best fishing and worst weather. They were powerful sailing boats capable of towing small craft to safety in heavy going. They had no engines. They worked under sail alone. They relied on sweeps to enter and leave port when the wind failed. But the days of sail were at end. One by one, the old sailing rescue boats were sold out of service. The new motor sailing type rescue boat took their place. An era was over. Oscar Tybring, after 42 years of service under the worst conditions, after saving 329 lives, 102 boats, and assisting to safety nearly 3,000 more, records that are still unbroken in the Rescue Society, was ready for a rest. In 1938, she retired and was sold. But there would always be a rescue boat bearing that name in the service. Today, a fine motor ship proudly carries the name Oscar Tybring III. The original Oscar Tybring was sold to a Norwegian citizen, Robert Robertson, who, with his brother, sailed her to America. There, in San Pedro, California, her new master met Ruth, who became his wife. They had a sailing honeymoon to Hawaii. War threatened. In October 1941, Oscar Tybring sailed from Pearl Harbor for San Francisco, arriving on December the 6th. After years of surviving North Atlantic storms, here was an escape of another kind for her. Her berth in Pearl Harbor was bombed the next day. During the war, she returned to Los Angeles Harbor. In 1946, their family growing the Robertsons sold her. After that, she had many owners. She survived the Ventura flood of 1969 when hundreds of lesser craft perished. She was loved and maintained. For a time, she earned her keep as a fishing boat. And she was home to a family. She traveled south, she explored new seas, and found new harbors. In 1983, she and her friends celebrated her 90th birthday. Her cruising days were coming to an end. It was time to think again of cold gray seas and skies and going home to Norway. Time had passed. The Rescue Society was soon to celebrate its 100th Jubilee. The Society has grown with the times. Its boats and methods are modern, yet is also tied to its past, to the days of sail. A few of the old rescue boats have come home to Norway. Oscar Tybring too will come home, but she will sail. She will return for the centennial of the Norwegian Society for the Rescue of the Shipwrecked. She should go as she always has, on her own bottom, not on the deck of a freighter. Oscar Tybring now belongs to the Oscar Tybring Society, whose members will take her to Norway for the centennial. Look at the old girl go. Come and join us for a leg of the expedition. Come help us sail Oscar Tybring home. Oscar, Bill, hjem.